Max Slayton had been investigating infamous legends with his father Jerry since he was 16. They both shared a unique fascination of mythical creatures that only grew bigger with time. Their first investigation had them travel to the Scottish Highlands in search of evidence of the Loch Ness Monster's existence. They didn't attain much, but it was a start into their journey as investigators. By 2008, they had been doing this for almost 10 years. They traveled the globe and learned so much, not just about the legends, but about themselves. Max and Jerry had investigated pretty much every alleged creature out there, except for one, the Sargasso sea creature. It allegedly first appeared in the year 1917. A ship was sailing through the Sargasso Sea when a number of passengers claimed to have seen this bizarre-looking creature staring back up at them from the water. They described it as having glowing white eyes and unusually long claws. Sightings of it continued to grow as the years went by. What added a little more credibility to this legend was that 60% of people who sailed across the Sargasso Sea were never seen again. Max had been obsessed with this for years and desperately wanted to further investigate. Jerry's phobia of the sea was the only thing stopping them. Jerry's crippling fear had been plaguing him since he was a child. He was fine with small bodies of water such as lakes, but when it came to the large, ominous sea, an aggressive form of anxiety would torture Jerry. After years of putting it off, he finally agreed to investigate the Sargasso sea creature. This was the big one. The idea of being on a boat sailing through the Sargasso Sea made Jerry feel uneasy, but he knew he had to do it, not just to cure his own curiosity, but his son's as well. Jerry and Max set sail across the Sargasso Sea in their rented cabin cruiser. Max was loving every second of it, while his father tried not to be sick. He made as little eye contact as possible with the water that surrounded him. 2 hours into sailing, Max brought the cruiser to a stop. It was now stationary in the middle of the sea. The sun was starting to fade, which meant that it wouldn't be long before the sea had a more sinister appearance. Jerry was struggling, but he tried to keep as brave of a face as possible. Max checked the time. It was 6 p.m. He put on his scuba diving gear and prepared to dive into the deep water. Before doing so, Max put his hand on Jerry's shoulder, trying to comfort him. "Thank you for doing this, Dad. I know how tough this is for you." "I appreciate that, Max. Just do me a favor. Be safe. Please." Max gave his dad a thumbs up as he got into position. Jerry had to turn away as Max dived into the sea in search of some kind of evidence. 10 minutes went by. There was no sign of Max. Jerry impatiently sat on the boat, staring at the floor. He couldn't wait to get out of there. As Jerry waited for Max to ascend, his anxiety reached a new level as the cruiser slightly began to tremble. Jerry's heart pounded against the flesh that protected it. He had no idea what was happening. Then the trembling stopped. Minor relief swept over Jerry, but that was short-lived. Max suddenly rised from the water. He was completely naked. His chest had giant red claw marks, and his mouth dripped dark, thick blood. Jerry tried pulling his son back onto the boat, but something kept jolting him back over the edge. Jerry felt intense terror as something began to ascend from behind Max. He couldn't believe it. A creature's shadow hovered over Max's back. It had dark purple glossy skin, glowing wide eyes, giant grey claws, and oddly shaped black teeth. Its body was similarly shaped to a human's, but it was 5 times the size. Jerry knew exactly what he was staring at. The Sargasso sea creature. Its presence made Jerry freeze in fear. The creature reached out its large claws and grabbed Max by his torso. It glared at a terrified Jerry before pulling Max back into the water. Despite his frightened state, Jerry's fatherly instincts kicked in. Jerry jumped into the sea he had feared his entire life to try and save his son. Jerry couldn't swim, so he immediately started to descend to the very bottom. And waiting for him was the creature and the severely mutilated body of Max. Hey guys, if I inspire you with my content, I'd appreciate it if you liked the video, hit the subscribe button, and slam that notification bell. Thank you very much.